What?
Hello. Hey, y'all. Even though this is not my show, but I still did the dancey dance. How are y'all doing? Hello, everyone. Welcome. And we are today, it is not, I don't have a hat. I'm not in the outhouse. I'm not in the back. I'm not in the shed. But you know what? I am here and representing. Who am I representing? Hounds of Business Happy Hour. Pew, pew, pew.
What?
Mike Ashabraner. We love you. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here today. How are you, my dear Sia?
Doing wonderful. Another overcast day in wonderful Dallas.
Well, it's stormy and rainy here in Houston, but hey, we'll make the best of it, right? As we always do. But anyhow, I am so excited to be here. Thank you again, Mike, for allowing me to be in the Hounds Business Happy Hour. We always love to be outreaching in the community, and we have what a program for you today. I am so excited to have these individuals who are representing and literally welcome to the world of nonprofit leadership, right, Sia? It's going to be fantastic.
100%. There's nothing to me whenever I see people who really do it's got to be a labor of love. Nonprofit is
Mhm.
got to be sourced from love. And so when you see people transition from corporate to nonprofit and nonprofit to vice versa, to be honest, you just know there's an extra touch. There's an extra sense of humanity in conducting business. So that's my personal bias. And so I'm super excited for the conversations that we're going to have with the ladies today.
I'm excited too, Sia, for sure. So let's see. First thing, I want to go to the comments. Who's popping up? I really enjoy,
Oh,
sending shout outs to people just because I always love spreading love. You know how I am.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
the nice lady, as they call me. That's a nice lady on LinkedIn. I just think it's hilarious. I'm like, it's Raquel, okay? Roll the R like Sia does.
Raquel. It's got to be a Raquel. It's got to be like that. Like seriously, people, anyone that like gets on your
Oh my
show,
gosh.
it's got to be. It's got to be. So it does take a little bit for the chat to pull up. So now we're going to start seeing everyone chatting. So where it
There we
didn't get
go.
broadcast, just so you know, the very first winner, chicken dinner of the first. You remember in like the internet, like in the comments, there's always someone that says first. And I know it's
Yes.
hella annoying, but the first person is Chris Berryman was the very first one.
Oh, there always is. It's like a okay, Chris
The
Berryman.
Chris
Okay.
Berryman was the very first person to comment. So congratulations, you won the first.
All right.
First.
Well, congrats
First.
to you, Chris. Thank you so much for being here and showing up with support. I see Mary Baker in the house. Mary, I love
Mary.
your accent, by the way, and great job yesterday. And you were talking about love. What is love? The meaning of love yesterday. It was amazing. Great show along with Nicole and Tabitha. Oh, she is fire. I'm telling you. It was a great show yesterday. So thank you so much, ladies, for that invitation as well. Who else? Jody in the house. Jody from from the Hounds as well. I'm so excited. Everybody's just here. I love
Okay.
it. It's
I love that
family.
too. So I want to challenge you, my friend. So can you see
Oh
the comment
Jesus.
below on the screen there and say that name of that fine individual who's streaming from a paired stream? So I'm not quite sure whose stream. It might be Mike's stream or it might be your stream. But
Okay.
come on, do you want to try it? Try it. Triple dog.
Yeah, I will definitely try it. Let me just. It's Kartikeyan Balaji.
I think
Yes,
that's
Kartikeyan Balaji. Please let me know if I said it right. Okay, because I really do like to make justice to people, to people's names. Isn't this that individual that was talking about offering that
spa days for us ladies. So timed collie, we're waiting for the spa day, sir. So thank you,
right,
thank you.
right. Oh my
So
gosh.
let's see. Oh, Steve, the people that you see me highlighting below here, just an FYI, are the paired streams as well.
Mhm.
So these folks may or may not be able to see everyone's comments. So I want them up there. So everyone that is coming in through Mike's stream or through Raquel's paired stream or any of the other YouTube channels, for example, I want to highlight you guys so you know that you are part of the story, although you may not see everyone's
Mhm.
comments in your comments bar. So
Right. Okay.
Johanna,
Hey, Johanna Renee. Hey, Johanna.
Johanna,
I
I
love it. I love seeing you here, Joanna.
love
Thank you
you.
so much. You and your artistry and your painting. I love it. So, I really quick, I wanted to mention something. By the way, we just came from like an epic weekend, would you say? Oh my God.
I
I'm still recovering.
I am still glowing from it. I do think so. Anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, probably good. But the thing that I think the highlight for me, there's two major highlights. One of which we got together to see a premiere of a symphony written by Scott Tixier, who
Texier.
Tixier, who is a five-time Grammy Award winner. He's a jazz violinist. He's played with Elton John, the Circle of Life on stage and all that stuff. Clearly, I'm not doing a good job selling you, Scott. My bad. But
Oh
that
my
was fun. What did
gosh.
you think of that symphony?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I just thought it was interesting because, like I said, that was my first ever, I guess, jazz symphony. Usually when you think about symphony, it's more, structure and all that, but it was beautiful. You know what really caught me was how he injected the sounds, all those different sounds and the voices into his actual piece. It was amazing. I just thought it gave me it really gave me that sense of all the cacophony an immigrant has to go through and like really take in whenever you move to a different place. So I could, every time he used to play that in the voices in the background, I thought about New York and the busy streets and all it was just like melancholic to a sense.
Yeah.
So I felt it. I felt it because I've been there. So bravo. It was one of those moments, very moving moments and reminders of how far we've gone, right, in our journey.
Yes.
So that was very pretty. And also the polar plunge, that was very awakening for me. I would say that was definitely
Wait,
great.
going in 45-degree water woke you up? Like, talk to me, Goose.
Yeah, I usually like going into like 30 degree. No, I'm just kidding. The 30 is already it's already frozen. But yes, it was definitely that was my first time. And I must say it was very awakening. I don't know how people do that all the time in the sense of like for the joy of it. But I'm not afraid to do it again. So that's the parting, I guess knowledge for me. So Michael Gale, thank
Yes.
you. Talking about Michael Gale, right? We have something that he has coming up. So we wanted to share that with the public in case you missed my show on Saturday. Actually, Saturday and Sunday with the impromptu Pilates primer that we actually had, which was amazing, by the way. It was fantastic. So thank you for that, Michael. Michael Gale is one member of our community, is actually a member of the Hounds of Business and the pack, one of the members of the pack. And he has a free class, a Pilates class, going to run on February the 20th at 4 p.m. Central Time. That's 5 p.m. Eastern time. Okay. So go check out Michael Gale. We send you a lot of love, buddy. You are amazing. We love what you do. You are just one of those leaders. We're so proud of you. So again, Michael Gale, in his LinkedIn, his M Gale Adventures. He's going to be holding a free class on February 20th at 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Woohoo!
Woohoo! Oh my God. I just realized we're 8 minutes in and we haven't rolled the intros.
Don't we always do that? Okay, we tend to do that. Mike, I am so sorry.
So I think we're gonna need to roll the intros, kids. So let's do the intros proper, and then that way that's a perfect transition, right? So it's been fun. It's been a pleasure, everyone. Love you guys. I'm gonna go backstage. So have fun, Raquel. I give you all the juju because you're gonna have to handle Michael. Mike, I mean.
Child, tell me all of it.
Here we go.
Are you looking to grow your business and your mindset alongside a fun and awesome pack? Grab a chair and your favorite beverage and join Mike Ashabraner, the business mechanic, and his win-win network for the Hounds of Business Happy Hour.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much again for being here. This is amazing. As you can see, I am not Mike Ashabraner, but he's being so gracious enough to allow me to host the show today because we have so many different panelists who are going to be here talking about something that is very important, and that's the world of nonprofits. But before we get to that, I wanted to take this opportunity to invite you all to my Connection Corner. That's Raquel Flores Connection Corner. And for those individuals, as you know, this is a very new thing that I'm doing. It's a very new, brand new business, but I invite everyone to make sure that they follow my page. Okay. So I know you guys love what I'm doing. Y'all love the collaborations that we're having, the banter, the friendly banter that we have going back and forth. And I encourage everyone to do the same thing. So why don't you go and one lucky follower, one lucky new follower, right? For the next day, whoever follows my page, I will pick one lucky follower and you'll win a 30-minute chat with me. How about that? So I will announce that person on the Saturday show. My Saturday show this week will be at 4 p.m. Central Time. So again, follow Raquel Flores Connection Corner. One lucky follower will get a chat with me. Okay. So love you all. So let's go ahead and move on to bring the one and only, right? The one and only Mr. Mike Ashabraner. How could we do it without you, sir? Hello there, my white poppy. And I will say it. Oh, my friend, unmute yourself. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it's been one of those days. It's been
No,
one of those. It's been a good day. How are you? You see
I'm
this?
doing great, minus the fact that there's the internet. You know, the internet was not working earlier because of the storms. What happened to your glasses, buddy?
That stupid dog jumped up and ate my glass. I've had these things forever, man. 5 years. Uh, hey, Kenny D, savor the flavor, buddy. He's in there. All right, Kenny D's in the house. So now, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? I have to
All
go
right.
Clark Kent style.
Oh, look at you. Actually, that suits you.
Look,
Don't do
there
that
you go.
again. Don't do
Like,
that again.
like the Cracker Jack man. Look at me.
Oh my
Look at, oh
God.
my gosh. All
Oh
right,
my
see
gosh,
whiz.
Mike. Well,
So
let
I
me
don't have a
say,
lot of playful
what did you say? Oh my
at this.
goodness. You're gonna toss them? They're done? They're done for?
I don't know. I might. My wife said she can get it fixed, but I don't believe her.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well,
So
Mike, again, I want to thank you for allowing me to be here today. I know you usually don't like, because I talk too much. So how about you tell
yeah,
me a little bit about it? Okay. So where people can follow you. There you go. Since everybody don't know.
yeah. Well, you went from stealing my show to now running it for me because I'm having more fun in the comments. But yeah, eh, March. I just want to say this real quick. March is the Women's Month, and we're
Mhm.
putting some of the women who are going to mentor in their field to people who are new to their field are also going to be the ones who are mentees, right? The ones who are going to learn. So we're just the main thing I need right now is if there's any female artists that are kind of new to really making uh, side income from being an artist, I want you to contact me. Just hit me up, send me a connection request, send me a message, um, and a couple more attorneys. If you're in the attorney wheelhouse as an experienced attorney, female, or in college, or you're taking a transition, or you're coaching, I want to hear from you. So really, other than that, I'm just excited for this panel today because a lot of folks don't know I have a background in nonprofits, and it wasn't the positive message. I'll put a positive spin on it, but there's a lot to learn about people who come from corporate to nonprofits, and people who go from nonprofits and screening and running back to entrepreneurship or corporate. So I'm really excited to be a panelist versus having the host. Thanks for doing the work.
Oh, I am just here for the ride. Literally, I am. I think you guys are going to be an amazing, this is going to be an amazing show filled with a lot of information because a lot of people don't know what a nonprofit is. And I know it sounds really weird, but it really, we don't know the intricacies of it and what's in the background, right? And behind the scenes, all of those things. And the thing is that sometimes those things do go sour sometimes, right? They don't really work out in the end. So today we might highlight a little bit of that.
Well, before that, we've got the Janice, right? Janice won the contest. Remember, it felt like a year ago, 2 months ago, I think, where we had the contest about the movie quotes. And Janice, I wanted to save her for a really good show because she, not to spoil the beans, has experience in both. Corporate, nonprofit, and starting a business. So really wanted to highlight her because she won the contest. But
Mhm.
she is awesome person, really stands for what we teach and our values here at the Hounds. Somebody who just did it, right? Just they didn't know what they were doing. They just knew it was important to them. So, hey, whenever you're ready, let's chat with Janice. Then we're going to pull Debbie. We're going to pull
There
Debbie
she
and
goes.
have a panel.
There we go. Hello, Janice.
Hi.
Shokrian, right? I was just
Yes.
making sure that I'm saying your last name correctly. This
Yes,
is
it
so
means thank
beautiful.
you in many languages.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for being here. You know, like I said, welcome. It's one of these fun houses, but at the same time, we always love to highlight individuals just like yourself who are doing big things out for the community. And in this case, you just tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm
Wait,
so oh
wait. You didn't think it was going to be easy, did you? Come on now. Um, I'll have to think of some kind of giveaway, but whoever can tell me what actress that Janice looks like, this is driving me nuts since she's been in the backstage. She looks like an actress, possibly from early 2000s. I want somebody to throw it out there. All right, so comment away. Ladies, I'll be quiet for once in my life. Take it over.
but what would they win? You didn't say that. You didn't say what they would win. You just
I
said
don't know. Just comment anyway. Go get something to drink and have fun. Dadgummit. Who cares?
okay. Okay. Well, all right.
You
Well,
get a
thank you so
virtual
much.
hug.
Thank you so much, Janice. So tell us a little bit about you and your beautiful last name, and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, thank you so much, Raquel, for hosting this wonderful show, and Mike for for starting it all. I'm so excited to be here. This is just fabulous, and thank you to Napoleon Dynamite for the great movie line, because that's the reason why I'm here. So, do chickens have large talons? Everybody remember that for future movie line funny quotes, because that's the one that worked. Um, I'm so excited because I just launched my business in June of 2022, and it's called Tausi, right behind me. And I reinvented the pillowcase because everybody wants to be comfortable, but not everybody wants something behind their neck, around their neck. And I did it for my dad, who was in a geriatric home, and I just created something that would be really comfortable. So I'm super excited.
Okay, so I'm curious though, and I think everybody's probably wondering the same thing. What is Tazi? And how did you come up with that name? I'm super curious.
Sure. Tausi, I'll show you. I'm using it right here for lumbar support. Tausi's a pillowcase. And it straps to the back of a chair, goes behind your head, boom, supports your head and neck. So when you're resting, when you your neck never really gets to relax, but with Tausi, your neck fully relaxes because nothing is around your neck and you just get to sink back. And I'm going to tell you how everybody basically made their own Tausi. When you're reading a book or watching sports on TV, you take your fist and put it behind your head to get more comfortable. That's what this does. It just gives you that extra support, and you can throw in a little bonus mini pillow to keep a little propped up a little bit more. And Tausi is derived from the word tausimo, which means caring for in Samoan.
Wow, that is so interesting. I mean, that looks like a complicated gadget, but it's really not, right? It's very
a pillowcase. You can stuff your own pillow in it, and you don't have to. So that's what's beautiful about Tausi. It's something that you can have your own comfort level, customized, personalized for you. Because I don't know if you like a feather pillow or a memory foam pillow, and so many pillows that you can buy today dictate your comfort for you. And I just don't think anybody should do that, because then you buy so many pillows and you think is that going to be comfortable or not? And you don't know until you purchased it and you try it.
absolutely.
And so then you wind up going back, if you're like me, go back to your old pillow that you probably should have replaced years ago, but because you love it and you know you're going to get a good night's sleep. So with Tausi, it's just a pillowcase. You transform your pillow into a head and neck or back support system. Or you can also use it like I am, which is on my office chair behind me. And I use that for lumbar support. So I am sitting in my chair really comfortable. So I hope you guys are as comfy as I am. But I've got
absolutely. I think I definitely need one of those because after my accident, girl, my neck messed up my neck and my lower back. So I definitely need one of those to keep me comfortable when I'm sitting for long periods of time. So what do you think, Mike? Do you like one of those, or back there you don't have one?
No, I think it's neat that you put your own pillow or it's got the support already in it. I honestly, I'm not faking excitement over a pillowcase because here's why I like this. No, here's why I like this. You got to tell us the story. All right, don't leave anything out. Tell us the story of what even inspired you to do this. Why did this become a thing to you? Because you didn't get up one day and say, "I'm going to make pillowcases with little H's in them." Right? Like,
No.
so what happened?
Well, I was visiting my dad in Texas, and Raquel, I know you're in Texas. My dad was in Houston, and I know. So I went to visit him, and it was the first time I saw him in a care community, and he was slumped over in a geriatric chair, and you can envision it. You know, somebody's like just an older person just lying like that, and it broke my heart. And I thought he just looked so uncomfortable, and I was like, I can't do anything for his end of life experience. We're all going to have it. But I was like, I just try to pick his pillows up, make him more comfortable. I put a throw pillow behind his head. I pushed him forward. I grabbed a travel pillow that was in my sister's car, put that around his neck, woke him up because I was fussing so much with the poor guy. And then he hugged me. All of his pillows fell on the floor. A caregiver picked them up, and she put it behind his head again, and the floor was dirty. And I thought, there's got to be something that straps to a chair. There's got to be something so simple, straps to a chair, makes you comfortable, and you know that when you get up and you can come back to your chair, your comfort is waiting for you. And so I couldn't find it. I seriously was up till 3:30 in the morning that night researching so many different websites, trying to find something that would help him. And then I came back to Oregon to sew something. And believe me, I sew poorly. Make my kids wear homemade Halloween costumes because it's like nighttime and they won't be seen. But I really tried to figure out how to create something for his comfort. And that's how this happened. And then my husband had a torn retina and had to sleep upright for a week. And I'm like, well, grab one of my prototypes, because his doctor's like, just prop pillows up. And propping pillows up, they slide. It's just a proven fact. They just do. And my husband used
Absolutely.
it. And most people, when they prop pillows up, get 20% scarring. He had zero scarring on his retina. Zero, because of Tausi.
My goodness. Well, I'm going to tell you that definitely what you alluded to with your father in the story, what inspired you is it's something that I see almost on a daily basis because I do work with the elderly and I see what you're talking about. So you know that this is going to be revolutionary for especially for people here in Houston once I start talking about it. But at the end of the day, right, we develop products for comfort, to actually help, to be useful, right, for individuals, whatever it is. But I want to highlight what Chris is saying here. How can I and bringing humanity together be a part of this, and how can we help? So that's a question that I guess they're asking you, Janice.
Oh, thank you. Really get the word out. I seriously just launched. I'm bootstrapping it. So as a woman-owned business, I'm so excited to have been on Caregiver Worldwide with Tracy Lamb, which I hope she's here today. And I take opportunities where I see that my values align with what the opportunities are. I would love, follow Tausi Brands, follow us on TikTok, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. That would be so helpful, really helpful, and get the word out there. We always have great coupon codes that we're doing, especially for this show today, and also subscribe to us, tausibrands.com, and stay in touch with me. It's a one-woman show, so
Well, let me tell you, it's amazing. So great, fantastic. We thank you for that. And there you have that information. So there is a special promo code for us and the Hounds of Business. So please, everybody, take that now. Go onto the website and get you one, because I'm telling you, you don't have to be old. You just have to want comfort, right? So,
right. And it comes in two configurations, vertical and horizontal. And I showed you the horizontal, and the vertical converts into a tote bag, and I take it on the airplane. So fits perfectly in your airplane seat, and it can strap to the little headrest, not the whole seat, just the headrest. So you can be super comfy on your plane. So use the disc HOB for a discount if you want to get a nice gift. Thank you, guys.
Not case sensitive.
awesome. What did you say, Mike?
I said it's not case sensitive. She told us that. And she said she counted 400 zippers.
And it comes in nice 4 colors.
She counted 400 zippers. 400 zippers? Is that what you told me?
I did.
Oh my gosh!
I'm
And then she
counting
comes
all my
on this show.
inventory right now. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, y'all. So the way to support Janice is, just to spread the word for sure. Share the information on about her amazing product. You say you just launched it back in June, correct? This was launched back in June. Okay, so that it's barely starting. So let's show her all the support. Let's rally around her support and really the comfort that we're bringing the individuals who may be suffering with back pain, neck pain, like me. Okay, so I'll be getting me some of those, a couple actually. So everybody use the promo code HBO in order to get your special discount.
HOB,
Oh,
not
what did I
HBO.
say?
Just
There you go,
HBO.
HOB. that's just me and my languages.
It's a
But
network.
yes,
But if you want
I know, right?
HBO.
I'm not
Oh,
promoting from there.
Are y'all HBO? You paying attention? I'm ready for you. Yeah,
Right.
Oprah. I'm still trying to get
Come on,
Oprah's attention.
HBO.
We're
All right,
manifesting. We're manifesting here, right?
That's right.
we are. All right. Hey, we got the poor, wonderful Debbie back there she had such a hard time. So if her mic and cam isn't good, let's give her a little opportunity. But she couldn't log in. So hi, Debbie. Can you hear us? Are you off mute?
I can. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for your help and your patience.
It's all right. So, Miss Raquel, I keep forgetting Miss Raquel is in charge today. So I can't keep quiet. So Miss Raquel, I roll my R's.
It's
Raquel. Go ahead.
it's okay. It's okay. I get it. We're used to it. See, you're already doing what you're doing. So you're just following into your natural flow, aren't you, Mike? So
I'm
thank you so
trying.
much, Debbie, for being here. I know there was some minor issues getting in there, but we're so happy that you're here and happy for you to share the information that you're bringing with us today. So please, Debbie Hansen, tell us a little bit more about you. Tell us your name and who you're here representing.
Well, thank you for having me, first of all. Very happy to be here. I am the founder of the Flores Foundation, which is a nonprofit, and we help families. Primarily, we're helping parents in crisis with their children. So you can imagine all of from birth to 21 could come up. If it's physical health, you have a newborn in the NICU, bullying in grade school, to substance abuse, undiagnosed mental illnesses. We see a lot. One of the hugest concerns in my world right now, and yours too, is fentanyl debacle. I think it's a path being pushed. It's being put inside of street drugs that kids drugs off the
Hey,
street.
is she cutting out real bad, guys? Can you all hear her? Or is she choppy right now?
It's a little, yeah, in and out.
Okay. Debbie, we're going to go ahead and cut your video. Cut your video, hit the video button, leave the mic button on, cut your video.
I think it was because I had my fan on. Can you hear me?
No, do like this. Go boogie to boogie to boogie. Is it
better or not?
Nope. No, you got your internet's bad. Drop your camera and we'll just try to get your mic. Bad lag.
Okay.
It happens, man. It's happening everywhere.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So recap that real quick again, because I don't think people caught it. What's the organization's name and what does it do essentially?
The Flora May Foundation, we help families, and that really means that we're helping parents that are situation of their child, a newborn, a kid in grade school, college. There's a lot of things that come to mind when you think about a crisis with your kid. The most common are drinking, being truant, getting involved with the law. So we're a resource, and if we can't help them, we partners that can. So,
Mm-hmm.
well, with other
Yeah, I think it's still,
nonprofits.
sorry, I think it's still cutting in and out a little bit, Debbie.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Maybe
I don't know why.
maybe you tried getting out and coming back in. Maybe that'll help.
Okay.
Yeah, and while you do that,
Yeah.
Debbie, okay, while you do that, we're going to ask the panelists a question. Just so we can try to figure that out. It's just, what led you guys, and I can ask this, Mike, and then you can go, Janice, so to give some time to Debbie to go in and come back out. I mean, go out and come back in. That's what I meant. So, Mike, like, for example, you have shared with us that you also have had some experiences with nonprofits. What led you to work in a nonprofit?
Honestly, I was tired of being a grunt working at a major distribution company for year after year. I just decided to go out there and see if I can fool somebody, I guess. Um, to be honest, I just wanted to be somebody, do something special. And so I remember working, a crappy job. I have 2 degrees. I'm an overly educated pink neck. Um, and so I just wanted to help people. I loved helping people, and I thought I could be really good at it. And just there was a job opening one day online. I was sitting there at work bored, and I applied, and they come back and said, "Yeah, we'll interview you." And I'm like, "Really? Why the hell? Why are you going to interview me? Like, why?" Like, I was shocked. So then I just here's what happened. I was so determined, honestly, and the stuff I said was surreal. I remember sitting there with the board and the second interview, and I remember like, what am I doing? I feel like a bad actor, right? So I'm sitting there interviewed by this organization, and they said, "Tell me why we should hire you." Yeah, you already know this is going to be good, right? And after all these random, all these big interviews, and I said, well, now that I know that 95% of your market is untapped, that means all the people that can donate and all the businesses is virtually untapped. Either you're going to hire me and I'm going to do it for you, or someone else is going to hire me and I'm going to come out here and take your stuff first. And when I said that, I was like, oh my God, what did I just say? But once you say it, what are you going to do? Like, mic drop, right? So they
My
believed it.
gosh,
Oh, they
yes.
believed it. They believed it and hired me on the spot. And 2 years later, I found out that I was number 14 out of 14. I was the bottom of the list for all 14 candidates to be the director. But that right there, guys, yeah, I tell you, I practice what I preach. I tell y'all to have courage and then figure shit out. So when I got the job, guess what I did? I Googled how to run a nonprofit. That was because I didn't know. I got the job and didn't know
Oh
what I was
my
doing.
goodness. Mike.
Yep.
Well, what an interesting story. Is that sound similar to yours, Janice?
No. Actually, mine was really, yeah, I like helping people out. I've always volunteered. That's been in my wheelhouse. But I honestly was in corporate, and I realized that I'm old enough where the baby boomers are not too far away from me. And so as a Gen Xer, I was just like, I was ambitious and I wanted to get ahead, and I could not get ahead in the for profit because they were like like 5, 6 years older than me, and they were the ones who were like my boss. And I was like, and I knew I could do better. And so there was an opening at a nonprofit, and I wound up loving it. And I was able to get into a position of a director job when I was a coordinator. So the advancement was rapid. The pay is not commiserate with the titles. They think they give you a title to make you feel good about yourself, but it's hard. It's hard work because you're wearing a ton of hats. And so the opportunity to advance and do all that work and the growth was fantastic. But like Mike, there's really very little roadmap on how to run a nonprofit. Somebody would say to me like, "Oh, you're executive director," and I'd be like, "Yeah, but I'm also the janitor." So it's like, keep it real. You're doing everything.
So it's a multiple hat wearing, I guess, decision that you have to really take into consideration. And I know that the bottom of it is you want to help, the need to want to help to serve the community, just be a servant leader, right? But do you believe everybody is cut out for a nonprofit or to run a nonprofit? What do y'all believe? Mike, I'll
Mike?
ask you.
Oh, ladies first. Janice looked like she's
Oh,
gonna have
oh,
something
there
good
you
to
go.
say or funny to say. You go ahead.
You know, I have run across some nonprofit leaders that are absolutely the heart and soul of the definition of what a nonprofit should be. And that just gives me encouragement. On the flip side, I've run across people who should not be in that position. So I guess it's like regular, corporate America where you've got, those who advance and who shouldn't be there. Um, I would have to say, I think in any kind of job, everybody should not be in there just for longevity's sake, but really assess as to why they're there. And I wish, from politics to school teachers and everything in between, just a self reflection is always important in our work.
Got you. Now, do we have Debbie back or not? Do we know? Is Debbie back?
I'm not sure how the sound quality is.
Yeah, it sounds like it's about the same. Okay. Well, we'll see if it gets a
Debbie,
little bit better.
to sing White Christmas, and if this don't work, I'll have you back, or we can do a pre-record. Sing me a song. See if it's working.
Oh, I'm a dancer,
Uh,
not a singer.
Well, I can't see you dancing.
Let's
I don't maybe tap dance. I can hear.
yeah, I
All
think
right,
it's still
Debbie,
about
I'm
the
so
same.
sorry.
Can you see
Yeah,
me?
no.
I was
We-
micro.
I'll bring you back. We'll get together. It's not your fault. You had a bunch of issues logging in that nobody else. It happens, man. It happens. Raquel had to run across the street and use some stranger's internet today. And no harm, no foul. Debbie, we will have you on soon. Probably here in March. But let me speak to let me speak
Okay.
to Janice's point. Not everybody's cut out to do it. And I saw really two polarizing. Again, I came from grunt work in business to the nonprofit. And I saw people that have good hearts who wanted to do something and didn't know how, and they just ran around. You're kind of like Janice, right? Like, hey, my dad's head looks really uncomfortable. I'm going to take action. It's like Tabitha, right? They keep losing children at school. Like, I'm going to take action, right? Like, I love that. But I also saw a secondary group of the nonprofits, and these are the people I did not like. It was the people that pretty much were lucky to have a job, and were just skating around and getting paid to do bare minimum. Really, the quality you would see in somebody who just was be sleeping on the street kind of stuff. And I know that sounds extreme, but I've seen it for 3 years. So honestly, before I spoil the beans and take over, me and the nonprofit was like letting a pit bull out in a house full of cats. It really was a hungry pit bull, because I did not take a pay cut to come here and play games. I came here to get stuff done, and not everybody was on that. Janice can attest to that. Not everybody's going to be excited for you to kick butt and feed kids and do stuff, but I was determined, and I'll digress that. But I want you to set the stage. I love the mission. I love the most of the people. I loved who we served, but the politics and the bull stuff, whoo, it was a daily battle, man, on my behalf.
So it's safe to say that that's the reason kind of spoiled it for you, that experience, and which pretty much drew you out or transitioned you out.
No, actually, it fueled me, but I don't want to steal the thunder. I want Janice to. It actually fueled me, and I can tell you about that why in a little bit. But I can tell you now,
Hmm.
it fueled
Yeah.
me because there was a point where it was so much garbage, so much egos and people who were just there and all of this, board members. I remember waking up and I said to my wife, I said, okay, I need to make a decision. Either I'm going to leave or I'm going to win. Right? Like, there's no more kind of playing around. Either I'm going to win, which is not going to be easy, very controversial, or I need to leave. So I thought about it and hung out, prayed about it. And 2 days later, she said, what are you going to do? I said, oh, they're in deep stuff now. Yeah. Because 15,000 needy families relied on what we had to provide them. I'm not a fighter guy just to fight for no reason. But look, we got something to do and something special. We have a path to walk, or actually path to run. And if you're going to put your self or your feet in the way, I'm going to step on it. Right. So you shouldn't be in the way of someone trying to help. Families do better. Homeless people eat, stay in their homes, and get them self sufficient because they want to be. Again, I just had to do the hard talk. And so I spent 3 years, my hair starting to fall out there, you see, fighting day in, day out. But it was 1000% worth it. And that's really how the Hounds came out. Because all the crap that I hated in those kind of places and cultures, I just recreated the redneck Camelot here. Look what happened, man.
Well, let me tell you that you're doing a fantastic job with that, because out of that experience, you got this other avenue that you decided to take, and look what it brought you, which is the Hounds of Business. And don't you think that that's a win situation? I think it is. So you should be patting yourself on the shoulder pad for sure. Janice, what do you feel in regards to that? I mean, you went in there, you've been in there. So what would you say?
Mike and I have once talked about this. It's a similar path where it's a burnout. It's the grueling hours. It's the nonstop, relentless. It's from my nonprofits that I've been involved in. The largest one had hundreds of employees, and then the smallest one was two. So the amount of work that I did I was not a problem with it. I like to work hard. The issue was when you have it was board members, honestly. It was those who came and just really wanted to be more operational versus staying in their lane of overseeing the fiduciary responsibility and helping to set the strategic course for the nonprofit. Operations is really left to the administrators of the nonprofit. And when a board member gets enthusiastic, it's helping to redirect them for their enthusiasm, which I appreciate. But then it can get into a layers of micromanaging and relentless oversight, and that really was what drove me out of the nonprofit world. And it did not happen to me once, but twice, but three times. And then you're just like, it's so exhausting. And because every nonprofit leader, when they get in there, they can do no wrong, because they're fixing something that's clearly broken, which is why they needed a new leader. And then once it's fixed, that's when the micromanaging starts to happen. Like, oh, well, we need something epic to happen again. And you just have to run the business. And so it's the enthusiasm that's misdirected. And that is what drives, I think, a lot of really great people out.
Yeah, so I mean, it just sounds like there's a lot of, there's willingness to help, a willingness to fix these issues, just all of those things. But at the same time, the toxicity that exists within there, it kills the mood. Am I getting that correct?
100%. 100%.
Okay. Mike, you were going to say
It just
something.
takes strong. Yeah, it just takes strong leadership, and a lot of organizations aren't used to that. So it's kind of like, hey, we want to grow, we want to do these things. They're passionate about their mission. Most people are not evil and just trying to starve kids, but any type of nonprofit, especially one humanitarian side, it's just an interesting dynamic that it's like have your cake and eat it too. Well, we want to grow. Like after I was fired because of nepotism that time from that corporate, it doesn't exist, so I can say what I want. Um, but I was interviewing across the United States for food banks and things, six-figure jobs, and I just didn't do it um, because they said we want to grow, we want to do things, we want to innovate. But when they realize what it's going to take to actually do that, they're like, "Oh, that's uncomfortable. That's not what we signed off for." I'm the type of guy that you called in because your organization is going to crumble in 6 months, and you don't care what the hell kind of atomic bomb I'm going to drop. I'm not the kind of guy you would call in when you just like to gradually improve and not rock the boat. So I realized that it's not just as much as the organization as it is the right leader. That I'm not. I walked into a boardroom, looked at them, they looked at me. It was hate at first sight. Like we just looked at each other and went, "Oh shit, I wasted a trip." But I'm glad they did that because at least to that board of directors' credit, um, they didn't waste time. They knew this guy. Whoo, just look at him. And I think that getting in where you're fitting in is a big component. Um, but if you're going to lead, you have to lead with strength, and you really have to be damn sure that you're passionate enough to put up with the crap Janice was just talking about, because it is a lot of stuff. But it is worth it if you
Yes.
can tap into the people you serve. Because honestly, anytime that I got overwhelmed with the crap, I would just walk up front and see who we were doing this for. And it didn't take very long to get ignited back into, charge ahead. And I grew up very poor. So working with kids and people in that situation, man, that it was a healthy excitement. It was, you know how people say it's never, it's never personal, it's business. Shit, it was 1,000% personal to me. And that's why I did so good in that.
So, having said that, though, Mike, I mean, we've shared the motivations as to why we go into, no, I'm saying we, but why y'all went into the nonprofits, right? For the right reasons, leading with the heart and wanting to serve, being a servant leader. You went in there, you did it. Janice, you did it 3 times. And I mean, you still stuck it out. So at least you know that you tried it, right? What lessons did you learn from those experiences that you took over and rolled them as you began your entrepreneurship?
Mike, do you want to take this one first?
Oh, really? Really? You act like I was listening? Oh my gosh. Um, Honestly, even though it was almost a daily battle and a headache, there was a lot of I learned. So I'm the only guy that came from business in this arena. There was 14 sister organizations in the whole city, and I did what most business people would do, right? Say, hey, who's doing it well? Find that model and duplicate the model. You don't want to reinvent the wheel. But the problem I saw personally was that a lot of it, not all of it, there was some good stuff, but the vast majority I would give a C minus at best. And so I found that it was a great opportunity to innovate the hell out of things. And so what I did was that I went, and this is what I do today. I learned this from the nonprofit, and I use this in for profit. When it came to grant writing, for example, I don't know shit. I don't know nothing about grant writing, right? I can't write a love you note. All right. So then I go and then I tried to do grant writing. So I found a way. And guys, I'm telling you this in your businesses and your part time and your work, think about this. I found a way around it. All right. So, and Janice, you know the stats. The best grant writers on earth are 20% success rates. That they get paid a lot of money in the nonprofit. Mine was 95%. And here's how I did it. I still do it today. I went to the nonprofits, little ones to big ones, scaled up, the foundations and the people with the money. And I said, what do you want to see done? Like you're giving money to see impact and things done. What do you want me to create that would give you money to do that? And they said, who are you? I said, yeah, exactly. I'm not from this land, right? So it's a magical land nonprofit. And I said, what do you want? And they were just, dude, they ate it up. All these foundations and companies ate it up. To think about that, the money guy and the business guy talked about, what do you want to see? Why do you exist? And then over time, they got to realize I was crazy enough to implement the things that I was talking about. So it was just asking people, "What do you want?" I do that every day. That's what her dad wanted his neck to quit crinking all day, so she provided a solution. I provided a solution. That's what I use in business: the grit, determination, but opportunistic. Like just because that's the way it's done, hogwash, man. I'm gonna find a better way, and it worked. I got so much money. People were mad. Oh my god, it took them years to get what I got. But opportunistic, and I led from the heart, man. And these big foundations knew two things: I had heart, and I also had the intelligence to pull it off. And that's really what it takes to nonprofit.
Mhm. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Janice, your turn
I
now.
think I love your passion. I really do. It's so infectious, and I agree with you. Getting money. That's what I'm doing now with my business. So there's a lot of crossovers. So when you ask about what is my crossovers, wearing a ton of hats. Like today, Mike had mentioned I was counting zippers. Yes, I was doing my inventory count for my taxes, and I'm doing it all, which is sometimes it's some weeks are tough, harder than others, but again, going back to the purpose, and so why my business is a mission driven for profit, because I also give back to people in oncology units. I give them a Tausi. I donate a Tausi to nursing homes, just to because I have to. It's the nonprofits in my blood. And so I think that that's something you just can't get out of you. And so I guess my crossover is I'm wearing always a ton of hats. Fundraising is a lot different though than writing grants. So it's a kind of it's trickier, but it's actually faster too because grants they make you go through a lot of hoops, and I feel like that's kind of
Mhm.
unfair a lot of times because nonprofits are so stretched to fulfill their daily operations that to have to write out what they're going to be doing with the funds and then begging for the funds and then proving what they did with the funds. And when you're fundraising, you can just say, hey, I need $50,000, and people, some people will write you a check, and you don't have to prove what you're going to do with that $50,000. The other business person trusts that you've got a business. Here's, you do your pitch deck. This is what I plan to do. And that's it. You don't have to write a report on proving what you did with it, So I think it's easier in the for-profit world to raise money than in the nonprofit world. And if anybody out there wants to invest in Tausi, just let me know.
Okay.
Did you? I'm sorry. I had to. Yeah, I'm popping. Did you have to deal with restricted funds? Because there's nonprofit people sitting in the chat. Did you have to deal with restricted? Because it was my worst nightmare, and it was my best ally. I changed that over. How did you deal with that?
Let's face it. All money that comes into a nonprofit really helps to pay the salaries of employees and keeping your lights on. You're just creating. I used to just have to create sometimes new programs that were easy enough for me to be able to implement without cutting into the budget that I needed to raise the money for. It's 80-20, and 20% of nonprofits budgets go into your administrative costs. And if you're a 501c6, it's 40-60. So you have to be really, it's trickery a lot of times. You have to be able to find ways to get the money that you need the money for.
Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So restricted funds. The first week I got hired, remember, I didn't know what I was doing. I was Googling how to run a nonprofit, right? And so I went to events to see what people were doing so I can copy it. And I remember laughing because, again, I come from business, and, so I sit down and there was this little card that says, where would you like your money to go? And I said, who the hell would ask that question? Like, that's the silliest thing. Yeah. Like, would you like your money to go to this or that? And I'm like, well, I thought that's why the hell you're here. And I asked these questions, which really, in hindsight, was stupid of how naive I was and open about it. But it drew in the right people who realized that this guy's clueless, but boy, he's fired up, like he means business, right? But the restricted funds, here's what I found. When I went out and made relationships, because it wasn't the organization, it was me. I was trying to get it to that point, but it was me. People believed in me at this point. And that's similar to business people. That's why it's so easy to transition from nonprofit in the mindset of starting a business, because that's how it starts. They believe in you. But if you do it right, it becomes a brand and a business they believe in, the whole organization. So when I went into that, um, I just lost my train of thought. Y'all saw that. I tried to recover, but
Restricted
man,
funds.
it just went away. What
You're
did I
talking about
just say?
restricted
funds. Mm-hmm. You
Restricted
said
funds.
restricted funds.
Yeah, so I would develop those relationships with people, and then I would find that they say, "Hey, what do you need?" And I was like, "Well, we need a generator." And they're like, "Okay." And I said, "Well, before you write that check, if you really want to see us buy a generator, write generator on the check." So I was the one getting restricted checks. So that way, if anybody in the organization said, "We're going to use this money to paint something," no, you're not. You have to buy a generator or give it back. See, then it got real interesting because I was the leader. And if think about it, why have an executive director or a staff? Why not just have like a red box vending machine of you put $1 in and kids get food? There has to be the overhead. So I kind of popularized. It's okay. In fact, people were actually happy to support. You didn't call it overhead. You called it, um, paying the bills or expenses, but it was amazing. Like, oh, we don't give money for salaries. I didn't ask you to give it for a salary. I asked you to give money for a distribution system to help more kids. See, same thing. It's just the way I said it and the results it produced.
I love it.
So not a lot of difference in business and nonprofit. That's why it's easy to innovate if you're thinking this way.
Okay, I have a quick interjection there. We had Mary Baker ask, what are restricted funds? If you may clarify that.
Janice, don't get to talk. Go ahead.
Well, it's just like what Mike said. If you're going to get money for a generator, you have to pay it you have to buy a generator. It's restricted to exactly what you say you're going to do with it.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay. Oh, there it goes. She says define that, please. But and like I said, to me, this is an interesting world because I've thought about a nonprofit, but I've heard both sides of the story. I want to help people. I want to serve the community. There are so many different groups that are in need of being serviced, right? And served too. But you hear all these horror stories in the back end, and you're like, I don't know if you want to do that. But at the same time, you're like, okay, let's find a happy medium and a happy balance and how to get to that point. So is there a way to just say, okay, maybe I should just go the entrepreneurial route, and why not just donate? Why don't you just do that, right? And save yourself from the nightmare. I mean, would y'all agree with that?
I have a funny story about that one. When I was in college, I told my dad I wanted to go into nonprofits when I graduated. He gave me 3 booklets: one, planning for your retirement, building your wealth, and getting started. So these are 3 pamphlets he wanted me to read. And he said, he's like, Janice, and they came from a long line of bankers. My parents met at a bank. I wrote a jingle for the bank, sung it on the radio, and I was out of there. But I said, somebody smart has to work in nonprofits. And he said, we donate to nonprofits. And that really struck me. And I think that's why I still, like, I just loved nonprofits. And perhaps I was rebellious, and that's what I did to rebel, was work in nonprofits. But it's really, I think it says something about, like, the heart. Like, you have the heart to want to do something to make a difference. Mike has that heart, and it's a need to see the world as a positive place, and people will be willing to roll up their sleeves and do something. I still continue to volunteer. That's not out of my blood. I'm running a business, but I need to recharge myself by volunteering, and that's what I do.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Mike?
Yeah, and I think Debbie she came from like sales and corporate to the nonprofit, and so she created her own nonprofit, and so she doesn't have a lot of that nonsense because she had the opportunity from day one to build a good culture and to instill that and get the right people. So what one person's nightmare is another person's dream, right? So again, it comes down to, because I hated it, but I loved it. Like, I didn't have to stay. I wasn't there at gunpoint. But I loved it, but I hated it. I think the reason that I got out of it is just that it was just too much. But I don't regret the time I spent. And there's a lot of people that are not having a horror story with it. It can be very challenging. But I think the key thing is that you should investigate. You should talk to people, shadow people, go volunteer a lot. You should really ask questions, interview staff and directors, and do some of your own face-to-face time to really understand what goes into it. Um, I think once you understand it more, you'll know if it's for you or not. But the single most important thing in any organization, for a non, has to be culture. And some organizations will allow you to transform that to a positive. They'll hire you for that, but many of them, uh, get ready for war, man. And I think that's the key. And then you all know me, like, yeah, I'll fight. If it's worth it, oh, you better watch out. But now I just want to do my thing. And just donate a bunch of money. This way, if I don't like the way an organization is, it doesn't affect my income. Right? Like if I don't like it, I just go start one or help someone else. But I think a lot of people are just, they're fed up with corporate, and I think nonprofit should be a serious consideration. And your business skills are absolutely transferable. You just have to tweak them in creative ways. So I like to see more business people, more retirees from corporate life and entrepreneurial life take that seriously. Maybe be a support role, but it is not. It's no different. The only difference is that the outcome of a nonprofit isn't for shareholder wealth and revenue. It's impact of the community or impact of increase of whatever good or whatever thing you're doing. So don't get it in your head that nonprofit functions differently. That's horse crap. All right. If you're making money, I made money, so I can say with authority. I just think that it's the mindset of the leadership. When I came in, like I ran something, it people believed it. They eventually realized, if I'm driving the bus, and if you don't want to get on this bus, get off the bus, or I'm gonna throw you off the bus. And then we had a good, fun kumbaya time. So you have to be strong, but then you can make it a positive culture. You can do both.
And I think, Mike, you really are like the king of that, because I didn't know this part of you, Mike, and I'm actually very surprised. That's amazing, the background that you have. The one thing that I wanted to mention is, like, some people look at it, right? Yes, nonprofits. Oh yes, I can do that. But some other folks really approach it at just looking at that tax part, right? That is, you're tax exempt and you're this and that. And I honestly believe that that's the wrong approach. But hey, what do I know about that, right? Mm, what do y'all think about that? Just people just going for it because of the tax benefits or the tax exempt and all
Oh,
that.
that's ridiculous, man. That they don't base it on any metric. Don't expect to get rich if you're doing it right for the right reasons. Um, there's just, I mean, look, you can work a job making a whole lot more money and be a hell of a lot less happier doing it. And so there's a fine line, like, me jumping in my own businesses. Like, okay, I may have lost half the income. I'm still not homeless by any means, but I enjoy life now. So if, I will make more money, but if I don't, I'm a happy guy, right? And so I think you should look at it from what is in here and what truly get, because even when stuff gets bad and it's hard and other people won't do it, you probably will. And remember, you probably have in the humanitarian sector of nonprofit, you probably have a lot of people, because in this case, guys, if I wasn't going to do it, nobody was. I mean, they had 50 years. Okay.
Right.
And so at this point, it was an absolute, I have really never been more passionate about anything else. Um, and that I took that same intensity and passion and desire to be happy, and I brought it to business, and I brought it to LinkedIn, and I brought it to the community. And so I don't think there's a difference of, I think it starts in here.
Uh,
Janice, what do you think?
100% agree. It's
Oh, we got a question.
it's really trying to I have to be mission driven in my work, and I'm mission driven in what I'm doing with Tausi, because to me, I think everybody deserves to be comfortable. Comfort is not just reserved for somebody who can afford, like, the bougie senior community, or pay the $300 hotel pillows. Everyone deserves to be comfortable. Period.
Absolutely.
It's just part of my mantra, and I want to make people comfortable, because that's another way I can help, because when you're comfortable, your chances are you're going to be happier. It's just like, you're not going to wake
Right.
up cranky. You're going to be happy. If you sleep on your plane without something strapped around your neck, you're going to be happy when you get off the plane.
Well, I love your mantra. Let me say that, Janice, for sure.
Aw.
But I know we do have a question. I definitely want to make sure that I get that. And Lindsay asks, any advice or feedback on how you chose your board of directors for your nonprofit, if you did?
I
Anyone?
could not choose my board. It was an election. And so, but what I did do was I went out and pre-paved the candidates. So I would talk with the candidates to see, and kind of pre-interview them if they were worthy. But then the that last nonprofit I was in was a 501(c)(3, so it was a membership organization that had to choose. Prior to that, the nonprofits, it was beg, borrow, and steal people to try to get them onto the board. We just needed bodies in chairs. That doesn't always work. I think whenever I serve on a board, I like to be that board member that says to the executive director, "What do you need? How do I help?" And I'm happy to do a project. I'm a great board member. I just don't want to, like, I have a board right now for my business. It's a different relationship, though, because I know what I need out of a board.
And that's what I was going to say. What
Yeah.
would you highlight as the main difference between that?
The main difference is they're all supportive. All boards really try to be supportive and really want to help. But what's happening is, I'm actually leaning on my board a lot more, because I know less about what I'm doing. I know less about, like, supply chain, and there's some holes I have from my past experience that I'm leaning on some board members to help me through legal things that I didn't know about. So they've been amazing resource and advisors.
Gotcha. Wait a minute. We're getting questions. So I guess we'll just continue. And then let me see. You want to go ahead and give it a shot to answer the previous one, and then you get this one, Mike?
Yeah. Just real quick, I told Lindsay, I think it was, Lindsay, connect with me. But the short answer is, even if you have a board and you're coming into an established nonprofit, they usually have, by bylaws, will state that they have a term. Okay, and so that's one of the things to kind of consider is, one of the things that I did was expand the board. So instead of coming in just throwing people out, I'll get to that. Thanks, Penny. But what I like to do is expand it. So we had an inner circle and maybe a group of people that were on the board, right? But then the board can fix its own bylaws and regulations to include more. So if you have a group of, churches or something like that, then you can also move to make certain seats, voting seats for not other, corporations. So I would think about asking the board, doing strategic planning with the board, and have someone else do it so you can participate with the key executive staff of the board, the executive committee or whatever. Uh, and do that so you're letting them buy into your vision. Don't tell them, talk to them and ask them about how to do it. All right. And then I need to move. Penny had the question that, God, I got too excited. Any organizational culture um, yields some casualties. Not a question, but dadgum straight it does. Um,
Oh,
I banned in the past. I'm not gonna say which organization, because there was more than one. But yeah, I banned board members. There were some egregious things that's happened in other people's organizations that I heard of, and it was like. And here was the question. I mean, somebody I used to work with had this in that instance. So they had to fire a volunteer board member from volunteering. Well, then the question was, well, how is this board member going to get into the board meeting? And I said, the better question isn't that. The better question is, why do we have a board member who can't act right and volunteer? And that's what I told the leader. I was like, that's the question I would ask. But then again, I'm me. I don't know if you'll probably get fired if you say that. Um, but isn't that the better question? If you can't behave yourself, what the hell are you doing governance? Well, so I just kind of came in and, again, I did a lot of stuff, and the person I was giving this advice to also did a lot of stuff, right? So yeah, they may fire somebody who's mediocre, but if you're out there killing it and doing things that no one's seen before and getting money and support community wide, you could get away with some more crap, Jack. I mean, look at me, right? So that's the kind of thing that I would encourage people. Go out there and make things happen, and then incorporate some change. Get some wins, get some people on your
Mhm.
side, bring
Yeah.
them involved. But when you get that momentum and someone wants to take it all away, yeah, man, now you can kind of say, hey, you get the hell out of here. But most people want strong leadership. Most people will fall in line and be happy that you took the hard action of kicking out a couple bad apples. So I just want to encourage nonprofit leaders to have great courage, be motivational, but also walk softly and carry a big stick, because sometimes you need to use that stick.
that's what I was going to ask you. That was going to be my next question. Like, what do you see that is needed in the nonprofits? Like, what, based on the challenges that you guys faced, what is needed to run a nonprofit?
What's needed for me was a community, kind of like what you guys have right here, the Hounds of Business, a community of like-minded people to support one another. Because that's really what it's all about. As an executive director of a nonprofit, and now even running my own business, I like to surround myself with people who may not be doing exactly what I'm doing, but they understand the challenges of starting your business. I've got this one great friend. He has this great company called Marmals. He's a toy maker. It's wonderful toys. And then when I was the executive director of nonprofits, I surrounded myself with other, just a support group. And I think that we're human beings. We are social creatures. We need each other's support as we're going through life. And I think we're better. I'm a better person because I get input from other people, and then I can extrapolate what is my best next step.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolute sense. Yeah, and like I said, to me, this has been like very informative and into the ins and outs of nonprofits. I've never really, delved into them this deep, and I hope that the audience also, they had great questions. Now, I know we asked this at the beginning, or you, Mike, mentioned this at the beginning of the show. What actress does Janice look
Oh,
like to
jeez.
you? So we're coming back,
Oh,
okay,
no.
just
I
before we're
thought we
getting
could
ready to
avoid
wrap up.
that.
just before we're getting ready to wrap up, just to do the fun stuff at the end. So I know Mike's mentioned this, and he said he wanted to see who Janice looked like what famous actress. So do we have some of the answers, what people have been saying? I would love to see that. If not, Janice, who do you think, who have you been told that you look like?
I really haven't. I don't know.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I really I have no idea. And this is the
Mike?
longest my hair's been. I usually have like shorter hair, so I don't know.
Mike, what would you
Maybe a
say?
90s movie?
90s movie? 90s I had little kids, so I probably
Yeah,
didn't
like
watch movies.
No,
you just
what's the
call me
name?
old.
No one's saying clearly I am not that person. I know, but I do get people saying to me all the time, I look like somebody else. And so I really feel like if I didn't have a life of nonprofit or entrepreneurship, I probably should go into a life of crime because I think I look like a lot of other people. So I'd get away with a lot of things.
Hey, Raquel, while we're trying to figure out who she looks like, and I'll figure it out after we close. Let me encourage anybody, nonprofit people that will see this and still watching. It's I see a change in this, and I think you should have courage and slowly push for this change. Think about worthwhile causes like AIDS and things, right? Everybody would want to donate to the research and the cure, but who the hell would want to donate to the fundraiser fund of the organization? And I think that's where we got to stop. No company on earth, no for-profit company would jump into a major project with $0 in marketing budget. Well, why is that the case? Because if you look at fundraising, right, give us some money so we can make more money to help the mission. It's such a resistance. Well, I want my dollar to go to each kid. Well, that requires us to do some stuff, and I don't work for free. Do you work for free? So I think some of the push from donors, from quite frankly, the people that we serve in nonprofit, and the leadership needs to start to kind of say, hey, you need to put money into the infrastructure of the nonprofit so it can be more well machine and do more impact. So people go, well, I don't want my money to go here. Well, then keep your money. I mean, I would tell them that, like, hey, Jack, here's what we need. Well, I don't want that. Well, you go give it to them. Like this is, and guess what? Doing that, we got more money because people knew I'm not begging. All right, there's a lot of opportunity. Go call, bring some positive publicity. If nonprofits get free airtime on the news all the time, so if you partner up with some local businesses that donated and you put them on the news, hell, you can't pay for that kind of publicity. You can only get that by putting your money where your mouth is. So I want you guys to start thinking outside the box. Stop assuming that everybody's got to do it this way. Nonprofit has a much bigger threshold for innovation and crazy shit than you would imagine, or I wouldn't be winning for 3 years like I was. So if you're a creative type of person that wants to get stuff done, man, it is a hell of a training ground. And if you can do that, then you will be a great entrepreneur because the skill sets are building in both. So if you're a great entrepreneur and you want to go help out in a nonprofit or serve as a board member, you're probably very skilled to do so. I think you should explore that.
And that's fantastic, advice, Mike. And I hope that people who are still in the comments and listening in will definitely take into that and really, think differently, right? Approach, redefine, recreate. I know it's not reinventing the wheel, but it's just making it better. And I think that's what this is about. And at the end of the day, is how are we serving our community? We love helping people. We developing products to help people. So bravos, kudos to that. We're learning different ways. We're creating communities out of a trauma. We're creating communities that work better, right? For better options, create better dynamics. I like to call it as a nurturing ecosystem, an internal or nurturing ecosystem, what we have going on with the pack. But see, Mike, I give kudos to you just because you came from that and created something that is so beautiful that now is given back to the community in a different, you recreated that in a different form. So kudos to that. Yay. I'm so
Thank you.
excited for
And
this.
and business people, all of us, most of us here are business people. It's amazing that they wanted it too, right? There's no nonprofit people really around us in the Hounds. It's business people for profit, most
Mhm.
of them. happily doing business with people they know, like, and trust, and building friendships. And I think that's the key from nonprofit. You keep the heart of nonprofit and what made you do that crap because it's hard, and you carry that into your for-profit business, and care about people the same way you would a homeless person you're serving. Jesus, think about the transformation and kindergarten skills you would possess, right, in your business to actually give that much of a crap. And again, you can't do everything for everybody, but that should be the vision. A vision is something that is pretty much unattainable, but you try to attain it anyway, right? You try to reach, no kid ever hungry. Well, that will probably never happen in a couple generations, but I'm still shooting for it. So I think the nonprofit vision can be applied and should be applied to damn near everything. Little league coaches, whatever, because man, that's what gives the edge. That's what gives that winning hit when you want to give up, and most would. It's that reason why you're doing it. So I think
Uh,
that's what nonprofits should inspire us to reach for.
Absolutely. And
I agree.
I was going to say, compared to like national nonprofits, Johanna here has a comment saying smaller local nonprofits need your help the most. They don't have the marketing budget as compared to the national one. Is this usually the case and that you've seen?
100%. Local nonprofits, you see the impact of your volunteerism or your money's going immediately, which is really helpful, as opposed to a larger like United Way, while they need money as well. But and what Mike said is that what I love about nonprofits is 9 out of 10 times they put people over profit. And I right now I think we're all getting a little tired of the corporate world where it's profit over people, and we see that with all the layoffs that are happening with all these huge companies, and when you put people over profits, it brings back a humanity and it creates the world that I like to live in, and that's the world I want. I want a world where um, I carry food in my car for when I see the homeless person at the stoplight, so I can give them some food, toothbrush, just like a little amenities, some sundry items, because I have to walk through life that way. That's just how I am. I'm made up, and I think that I love the heart of nonprofits have a vision and a goal to help others.
Absolutely. And I love what you just said because I thought I was alone in those things. I also carry just like food in my car and some toiletries as well, just because you always run into
Mhm.
different individuals and you just never know. I was criticized. I've been criticized for that just because it's crazy or they call me a dreamer, but I do live in this world, Janice, that I just believe that people should be able to help one another, right? I wake up with this desire, this burning desire to help people however I can, and everybody should just inject that everywhere we go. We should have that dynamic, and this is what I love about the community that Mike has built because it's based out of that trauma that he experienced for so long in this nonprofits or in his experience prior to being an entrepreneur that really cemented what fundamentally this community was going to be about. And to me is leading with the heart, no way around it. Leading with the heart, serving your fellow, serving your anybody who's around you, but leading with the heart is the best thing and an intent that you can do. So I don't know if you want to say something about that, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, unless Janice has something to close, guys, I love this combo. I think Janice is fantastic. Too bad I didn't know her when I was on the top. She would be a great board member. She's counting buttons and silly like me. I think there's some nonprofits watching this. Um, the newer ones and the smaller ones. The best advice I've given, and I've seen this work on LinkedIn, is to stop doing 50 things. All right, don't do that. Do one or two small but meaningful things well. Like I saw this person doing all these things and just feeling just exhausted, and I said, "Look, you're doing like 10 things half-ass, well. Like, how about you do two things really well, and you'll feel better and you'll do better, and your nonprofit will do better." And they're like, "Oh, what two things?" I said, "See, now you're thinking. I don't know. That's your nonprofit." But see that the whole mindset So the two things, and guess what? I got a big old post one day and a big old message talking about how fantastic their first delivery was dropped to the hospital and all the kids. And wow, you know, because now you're doing two things well, and guess what's happening? People will ask you for more. You don't have to give them more. All right, they'll come to you once they entrust you. Once they trust you with the little. So, well, I'll $100 grant, or I only got a $500 sponsor. Yeah, and take that $500 and make it $2,000 worth of impact, and I guarantee you, you'll be getting the fatter checks because now they believe you can do what you say you can do. So, do some small things well. Be proud about that. Tout that, and bet you they'll give you some more money to do more. All right, baby steps. Still, baby steps or steps, man. That's all I got.
Wow. Well, I mean, you are the king of grant writing there, right, Mike? 95%. That's what you said, that's how you are. So you know all the tips and ins and outs. But I know we're heading to the end of the show, and I wanted to give Janice a chance to say some parting words, some advice for nonprofits or people who are thinking about going into nonprofits, or, just any parting advice, and then how we can find you.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And this has just been such a delight. And so thank you for what a great host you are, Raquel. So thank you for doing that. And Mike, thank you so much for being, I'm so honored to be first time on your show and have you as a panelist. It's really cool because I've watched your show. So it's been a pleasure. Advice I would have for anybody going into nonprofits, go in with open eyes, go in to see that that it is dirty, but it's also wonderful. So just be aware of those two things. So don't burn yourself out. Pace yourself in a nonprofit. That's my advice. And if you choose to go into for profit or entrepreneurial, know that you're going to wear a million and one hats, and it's just going to be still a lot of work. So just keep your attitude and keep your perspective. That's my advice. And please follow me, talsybrands.com. Check out my company and just spread the word for me. I would really appreciate that kind of love. If that's all you can do, you don't want to buy a Talsy, or if you do want to buy a Talsy, hit me up and I'll work it out with you. So thanks so much, and link in with me.
Absolutely. Well, everybody, we want to definitely thank Janice Shokrian for being here. And everybody, just make sure you buy one of her, Tazzies, either for your fellow neighbor, for that elderly person in your family that you know who suffers from so much back pain. I'm definitely going to rally all the community to make sure that we spread the word for you, for sure. Janice, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for putting up with us. This has been amazing.
Fun. So much fun. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you're fantastic. We appreciate you.
Okay, well, look at you, Mike. Well, let me tell you, I must say you have surprised me today, because I know that you being one of my mentors and being the amazing human being you are, I didn't know you knew this much about nonprofits and all that you've gone through to be where you are now. Definitely makes me love you that much stronger and really much more. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here. But I just think it's been amazing. You're an amazing individual, bringing all these individuals together. Gosh, the winner, just imagine where this started. The winner of the challenge, right, of the movie. And look where she's at. Look at the wonderful things that she's doing in the world. From one situation, from one trauma, she develops this product that is going to help comfort, to make people's comfort, be better. Does that make sense? Yeah.
It makes perfect sense because when I first saw a lady with a pillow, I thought, we've all seen the commercials, right? And the jingles, and I'm like, oh man, but that's again, we're biased. Look, don't you all boo me. Y'all thought it. I'm just the only one that said it. Y'all thought. So, but then when I saw her, I liked her. I heard her story and I went, absolutely, man. Like, we need to know what people are about, and why they do what they do. Because she could have created a shoehorn to help an elderly person. And I've been excited about it because who she is. And then once you get people to know, like, and trust you, then they see what you got, a really quality product or some kind of value. It's over, man. And it's no different in nonprofit. We do this. If you give us money and support, time, and all this, this is what you can expect out of it. And if they believe you can do it, they'll support it. Period. So don't talk about the money. I talked about vision. I talked about the mission and what we're going to accomplish. And then I left the business plan on the desk. That's everybody else talked about we need money. I said, no, we need vision and people who will do stuff. And then we got it. So guys, get
Gotcha.
excited, be passionate, and roll with it. It's my advice.
Okay. Roll with it. Well, your advice is sound, my friend. And I'm going to say thank you so much for allowing this show to happen. I think a lot of people walked away with definitely enlightened about the topic today. But not only that, but, also seeing the beautiful thing that the community is doing and creating. So I want to thank everybody. I know we're about to go. We're going to wrap it up. And I love you guys. We love you. Come check us out, connect with us, send us messages, DMs. We're here for you all, and we're a very nurturing community, welcoming to all. So thank you for tuning into another episode of Hounds of Business. And now, my show. Oh, Mike, you're so gracious.
Saturday. What time does your show start Saturday? Connection.
Okay, so my show, as you know, Raquel Flores Connection Corner is every Saturday. We usually, try to work with the time for the guests to accommodate the guest time, because we really do care and making sure that we highlight these individuals. So this coming Saturday, my show is going to be at 4 p.m. Central Time, which is 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so just make sure that y'all join. I will have a very special guest. We'll find out tomorrow, and it's going to be amazing, as it always is, and fun. If you have some time on Saturday, you just want to chill and connect with individuals, it is for that. That's the reason why I created the show, because I want to make sure people have a safe space where to connect in a fun environment and in a safe environment. So thank you so much for that. And I'll definitely see you guys there. For the rest of y'all, thank you for tuning in for the Hounds Business Happy Hour, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Thank you. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.